Okay, it's April 21st at noon, and we're over at Ma's kitchen, and she's going to show us how to make some stuff. Okay, Ma, what do we got going today?
Okay, this morning we're going to make the Austrian Hungarian goulash. These are the ingredients. I have 3 pounds of beef roast or chuck roast or whatever. Don't have to be a real good cut. I chop it nice, and you can use regular beef meat, but when you have a family, you want to save, and you want everybody to get meat. So I always chop it up about an inch and a half.
Okay.
Then we use about 4 cups of onions, chopped onions. Okay, the onions are chopped or just cut up, doesn't matter. Right here.
Okay.
Okay, and then we don't put, usually this recipe does not call for carrots, but I like it for color. It gives it a nice flavor. The carrots go in later with the potatoes. Dice your potatoes. They go in about a half hour towards the end of the cooking process, because you don't want to get them mushy. Then you use, if you have Hungarian paprika, you use paprika.
Okay.
I use about 2 tablespoons of that. Seasoned salt.
How much of that you throw in?
Seasoned salt, I have to see, maybe about a tablespoon to start with. Caraway seed, about a tablespoon. Pepper. Marjoram, that's one of the main ingredients. Tablespoons of marjoram.
And what's that last one?
And this one is garlic powder. Now, if you have real cloves of garlic, I would put in about 4 cloves of crushed garlic. But with this, I will use about 2 tablespoons of garlic. And now I am heating my shortening on the stove.
How much shortening did you put in the stove?
I put in about 4 tablespoons of shortening. You can use oil, but I use the Crisco. Now I'm going to take the beef and sear it. And while I'm searing that, I will put on my spices, my paprika, seasoned salt, caraway seed, black pepper, marjoram, and garlic powder. I marinated the beef overnight with a little Lee and Perry marinade sauce. About 2 tablespoons. I'm putting it into the I'm just going to sear this a little bit. I'm just going to wait until this sears. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes because I want it seared and coated, and then I will put my spices on. Later on, I've got some beef stock that I have. I'll put that in, or you can just put water in it. It'll take the flavor. I've cooked this beef broth here. You can also use 2 beef bouillon cubes and maybe 2 cups of water, and then you can mix that in when you get ready to put your juices in after everything is seared and fried.
2 tablespoons of the paprika.
Or more.
Or more. Okay. Right off the table. Huh? And what do you add now?
Seasoned salt. As Emerald will say, this is essence.
Who says that?
I mix it. Emerald.
Who's Emerald?
He's my friend on the TV. My boyfriend. He teaches me all kinds of things. The only one and only I listen to. Okay, I have to use caraway seed. So I'm going to start out with a tablespoon of caraway seed. That's the last ingredient. Then I will put in about a teaspoon of pepper. You don't want to get too strong. Now I usually just put this in as I am going along here. Then we have garlic powder, and I love garlic powder. So we will put in a good tablespoon of garlic powder. If you have real garlic cloves, Then you put in about 4 of them. As Emerald will say, bam!
Bam.
Now we have my favorite. All Austrians cannot cook without marjoram. If you have the fresh marjoram, it's wonderful. But we don't have fresh marjoram, so I am going to put about 2 tablespoons of marjoram in this. It's sweet marjoram. Now, as I say, when I cook it for myself, I just put all these ingredients as I go, but I am mixing this together so you can, as long as we're filming it, so you can see what I have here. Now I have this together. I'm going to incorporate this. And when my meat gets a little seared over here, or browned, I am going to put this in. Add it to it. All right.
Okay, now when do you put
Now
that in?
I'm going to put this seasoning into the meat. I'm going to stir it. Now these are your seasonings. I'm going to cook that just a little bit, and then I'm going to add the onions. This is a bigger pan than I usually use. This is the pan I usually use for one batch, but this is going to be a little bigger because I want to add the dumplings later, and I need a larger.
How big is this batch? Is this a double or what?
Yeah, this, I would say this is a double. I got almost 4 or 5 pounds of meat in here. 4 pounds of
So if
meat.
you want to make a single, you just use half
so
of
you
what you.
use about 3 pounds of meat.
What about the seasonings? The
The
half the amount?
seasoning you can leave about the same. It doesn't matter. Now we have about 4 or 5 cups of onions. And I am put this on here. And I'm going to add the onions. Seems like a lot, but oh, that makes good goulash. Now we are going to just cook this. This will have to, until the onions get glassy. This will take a while, and I'm going to put the lid on and take a break and let this cook for about, I'd say 10 minutes.
It smells great.
Yes, it does smell very good. The onions are getting glassy.
It smells just like that stuff Grandma used to make, you know?
Yes, it is.
Mmm.
This looks good. Now that the onions are glassy, see, now I don't want to have it sticking down here. I am going to add now my beef broth. I cooked it yesterday, and it was in the refrigerator. So I'm going to throw this in there for now. That is a beef broth that I cooked the ends from the meat, from the roast. I'm going to cook that, and then I'm going to let this cook just a little bit. See, that was cold. That beef broth was cold. I took it out of the refrigerator. So now I have to bring it back up to a boil. And then I'm going to add 2 cups of water. I might throw, after I get done, I might throw a bouillon cube in that, but I don't want to get too strong.
Okay.
I'm using warm water because I don't want it to,
Oh, okay.
I don't want to cool down my stew. Looking good. Now I'm going to put the water in. Now that's it. Now we are going to set it on the back burner and we are going to let it cook. I have to keep stirring it once in a while because you don't want to let it sit. How does it look, Frank?
Looks good.
Okay. All those good spices are going to incorporate here, and it's really going to be good. Now we're going to put it on the back burner and leave it stew at least an hour, but we have to keep stirring it. There. I'm going to add to the goulash right now.
You're adding hot water, right?
Yeah, because I don't want to chill the meat. There.
How much was that?
4 cups of water. Now, see, your stew will be very spicy. And the meat is, roast beef takes a while to cook, so I'm just going to cook it a little longer. I think I'm going to leave it cooked for about a half hour longer, and then I'll put the potatoes and the carrots in. Then it's time to, you don't want them to get overcooked. So I would say maybe an hour. Who knows?
What are you doing, draining the carrots?
Yeah, because you have to keep watering them when they get goofy.
Goofy, huh? Oh, there goes the potato.
Potatoes and the carrots. Now we'll cook them. Now we'll let that cook for a while. I'll get all that good stuff on there. See how nice that looks? Now we're going to just let that cook for a little bit.
How long?
Oh, till the potatoes and the carrots get done. Oh, I would say half hour. Excellent. Goulash takes you about 3 hours to cook. At least. But that's kind of a big batch. I'm thinking the goulash now. And for a little added color, I am going to put in a little paprika. They say this makes it redder. Okay, now we are going to mix this up a little bit.
How much flour is that?
I would say that's about a half a cup. Now I'm going to use cold water with this.
How much did you put in there?
About a half a cup. It's like you're making gravy. So I got to make this so it's a little thick. I like my whisk because it gets it nice and smooth. We need a little more water in here, so we're just going to... This must be unbleached flour. I'm going to the sink and I'm going to add a little more water. Use cold water because otherwise it'll get... I would say now we have a cup of water in there. Alright, now what I'm going to do, I'm going over to the goulash. You see it boiling here. And I'm going to throw that in there and whisk it around. Ooh, that looks good. Ooh, that looks good. Now we'll just keep turning it because this will give it a little added thickness. I shouldn't use that whisk because it'll... See now, Frankie, it's more like a stew, see? It's a little thicker and it'll get a little thicker too. Potatoes are done. Carrots are ready. Look at the meat. Maybe you can see it better if I use my aluminum spoon. See what it looks like? There. I might have to thicken it a little more. You want it too thick because your dumplings are going to go in there. So good. That's going to thicken up a little more. I'm going to put the lid on so it covers it. Ooh, look. Oh, that's as good as they make at the Austrian society. Now we'll just turn it on low. Okay, now we're going to make Süßkraut, Austrian potatoes. So I take about a medium head of cabbage, which is about 6 cups. And I will put that into my big pan. And I'm going to put about a teaspoon of salt in this. And I'm going to cook it until it gets glassy. I would say maybe about 20 minutes to half hour. Then I take potatoes. You can just take a quarter of them or whatever, and I cook them down, like make them smaller like this so they cook faster. And so I put my salt in here, and I'm going to put in maybe a fourth of a teaspoon of pepper. I'm going to cover this with water. I'm going to cover this water because your cabbage will boil down, but I do want to get it where it's glassy. See, it's just chopped. You just chopped it in there. So I'm just going to put that on the stove now, and I'm going to put in to cover it with water, and we're going to boil that for, I would say, 20 minutes to half hour. And after I get that boiled, then I take the potatoes and I put them in there and boil them. So we're just going to start it out with cooking the cabbage and salt. I'm going to measure this, otherwise I just cover it. But I'll tell you. 1, 2,
You're using hot water?
3. Yeah, I'm using hot water on this. Otherwise, it takes too long to boil.
4, 5,
I do have bigger measuring cups, but
6. Is that a cup? 7. How many is that? 8.
8, 9, 10. That's enough. Now we are going to set it on the stove, on the back burner. Turn on my stove. There. Let's stir it up a bit.
How long do you cook that?
Half hour, 20 minutes, or 25 minutes, depending on how the cabbage is. Put that on, forget it. Okay, now we are going to add the potato.
What is it, glassy? What do you call that?
It's like transparent, yellow, and
How long has that been cooking?
about 20 minutes.
Okay, we see a
Now
clock
we're
on
on
there
the
too.
potatoes. Now I'm going to put in my chopped potatoes, which is about 6 potatoes. Medium or 4 real large, and I would say this would be about 6. We're going to add that in there now. Okay, see how that is together now? It's going to make a nice big pan full. Okay, now we're going to let that boil for a while. That'll take about
How long?
20 minutes to half hour. Back here, we're cooking. We cooking here. Then I have to make my roux. Or they call it Eibrein in German. And you take shortening, you can take bacon grease, you can use oleo, whatever you have. I would put in a whole stick or 2 tablespoons of oleo or shortening. Then you take flour. What you're doing is browning your flour and bring it to the darkness that you want. Then you salt and pepper it, and I put a little seasoning, salt and pepper in, and that's about it for now. We'll just let this cook. Okay, now I'm going to check the potatoes and the cabbage. It looks excellent. Now I'm going to drain them. I'd say they've been cooking, the whole process of the cooking has been about an hour. Because I'm going to have to see how much water is in here. Now I'm going to put it back into the pan. See, now these are ready to be mashed. Now I'm mashing the cabbage and the potatoes. I'm mashing them with my mixer. They don't have to be real fine, but some people like them lumpy. I don't. See how it holds a lot of its water. That's why I save the water in case I need more. Now I'm going to give this a few more spins here till we get the lumps out. This will be enough for us. Now we'll cover that, Frank. And now I'm going back to my stove and I'm going to make in the roux, or the brown pan gravy is what it is.
So this is the bacon grease for the searscrout, right?
Yeah. I'm going to take a little more shortening.
And this is, what's this stuff called you're doing?
This is called...
Making the what?
I'm making the... it's like a brown pan gravy. This has to get very hot.
How hot?
Oh, I don't know till it's getting hot now, but I turn it on high. Then I'm going to take... I'm going to make the whole cup. I'm going to brown the flour.
What did you just do now?
Testing it to see if it'll melt. If it's hot enough. It has to be hot, very hot. Okay, now see the lard is bubbling a little bit. So I'm going to put my flour in there.
What's that?
Seasoned salt, little garlic powder, and a little pepper. You can always salt and pepper more. I don't like the pepper a lot because some people can have a lot of pepper. Now I'm just going to work this till it gets brown. This is burning your flour, or making, in German we call it an Eibrain. And you get this. Got brown faster that way. Yeah, see? See how that looks? Takes a while. Big it to the color that it gets kind of a, you'll get a kind of a burned flour taste, salt and pepper, whatever. I let it get a little browner. This takes about, I would say, 5 to 10 minutes to get it brown. So actually I used a cup of flour in here and a cup of shortening. 3/4 of a cup. See how it's changing color, Frank? See how nice that looks, Frank?
Mm-hmm. Smells good too.
Yeah.
That bacon grease.
That's the Eibraten, which you see in German, it's burnt flour. It gives it a nice brownish. See how fast that will turn color on you? this. Now I'm going to take some of my reserved potato water, maybe a cupful. I have to kind of do this as I go along here. It's very hot. See this? Put the rest of the water in.
You've added about a cup?
Yeah. And now I'm going to turn it off. And we're going over to the potatoes now, Frank. And we're going to mash them in. I think I'm going to put just a little bit. I'll put another half a cup of water in, Frank. Because I won't pour it. You have to kind of play it by ear. It gets like a gravy. Because I drain my potatoes quite well. Okay, now I'm going to put this in here. Looks ugly, don't it?
No, it was good.
Give it a twist.
Mm.
And now I'm going to take my beater again. That's it. I'm going to take some home for your Trudy.